What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, ladies? Welcome back to the Officer Tatum Show. We got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. The bombshell Cajun Navy document that's just been released. Sophia Cunningham, my favorite WNBA player, my favorite female athlete. Hey, there's some other people that I think are good, but ain't nobody like Sophie. She is the MVP, the GOAT, the everything. She stand up for what's right. She stand up for her teammates. Come on, man. All right, let's talk about two other things, too. We're going to talk about something that Nolan mother said that I am upset about. It ain't had nothing to do with me, but just the sentiment, which may explain why she's getting bad reviews at her practice. And people say, you're going after a person who's grieving. It had nothing to do with that. Some people need to watch the things that they say if they don't want people to say nothing back. And also, threatening voicemails, threatening to kill people. These voicemails were targeted at Ben Hudson, Warren Hudson's dad. Wait till I show y'all those messages, and you know who the suspects are. Welcome to the Officer Tatum Show.
I want everybody in this room to have that same spirit, that same identity carried in your life.
Make sure that you go through life and find your purpose.
And we don't do this just to get a pat on the back. We do it because we came here to win.
And it starts with you understanding that God has a purpose for you.
This is the time to be more bold than ever before.
We're all Americans at the end of the day, and we should love one another. We should be focused on what's right for our country. All right, ladies and gentlemen, ladies, welcome back to the Officer Tatum Show. I want to give a big shout out to all my members, especially the new members that have come on. Thank y'all. Welcome. I really appreciate you supporting us on any level that you support us on, whether you're a rookie or you've been promoted all the way up to deputy chief. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. This does an incredible job of helping with the staff, helping us do things outside of the box. Also like going to Mississippi. I mean, all of those things. We can do those things because the people who join our membership program help us in that way. Thank you all. Also, make sure you download my podcast. Leave a review. If you like the podcast, leave a review. If you don't like the podcast, go watch somebody else's podcast. I'm just kidding. You can leave a review. I don't care. You like it or not, I don't care. I'm still going to make the podcast. Also, the Substack. Go join the Substack if you like it in written form. All of my top subjects that I talk about, I write a Substack with those topics. We're going to try to do some extra things with Substack here moving forward. But anyway, let's get right into this, man. I don't need to waste nobody's time. Let's get right into the topic at hand. The first thing I might want to talk about, we do have this breaking news thing that people were referring to, which is the Cajun Navy document. I'm going to get to that in 1 second. I just want to put this forward real quick. And I'm not trying to bash that boy mama, but I do feel like since she bring my name up and in part want to disparage me and say these things, then I the gloves are off. I'm going to say what I feel, and you have now entered the zone. Let's put this up on the screen. This is problematic in my opinion. This is a stimuli to why I feel the way I feel and how I felt at the beginning of this investigation. If mama would have came out and the family would have came out and said, look, I want to know what happened to my son. I'm going to do a private investigation. I'm going to hold them accountable to make sure they do exactly what they're supposed to be doing to find out what happened to my son. The end. Nobody in the world would have a problem with that. Nobody in the world should judge her on that. Nobody in the world have nothing to say because everybody in the world would do that for their own baby. It's when you come out and say, we know the history of Mississippi, so it must be an impropriety. He was out there with white people, so they must have killed him. They must have done something wrong. We're going to get to some of the fact patterns in post-show clarity for the members, but we're going to get to some of that stuff where saying that they deleted stuff from the phone. I just want to throw this in there. They deleted stuff from the phone. Let me tell you why that doesn't pass the smell test to me. I don't know. I wasn't there. We will find out through an investigation. But when you say they deleted stuff from the phone, one or two things have to occur based on reality. If you have a phone and you look at it, and you said, these things have been deleted. Therefore, if you know that they're deleted, you can see what had been deleted. Because you'll have a text or something that says this was deleted, or you'll see in the deleted folder that somebody deleted this document. If you don't have material that you can visibly see that was deleted, then therefore you're assuming that things have been deleted. And you are making an assumption that because these kids are white, they must have deleted something. When you have not been able to verify by seeing his phone before and after to make a determination if things were deleted, who actually deleted it, you are insinuating. And if there were things that were deleted, his mother wouldn't know because you would need to do a forensic extraction in order to find out what exactly was deleted, when it was deleted, and how it was deleted. And that these things were not deleted by Nolan at all at any point in time. The absence of content does not equal deletion. So why would you go out and say that unless you saw evidence of deletion and you know what was deleted? And I want to know, was there a lock on his phone? Was there a code on his phone? Now, this is what's going to shock me, because all this stuff has to come out at some point. I'm wondering, and this is just something that I would like to know, I haven't heard anybody say, did he have a code on his phone? And if he had a code on his phone, did his mother and his stepfather, know the code? If the answer is yes, then the next conclusion is, did the friends know the code on his phone? How did the mother know the code on the phone? Is it because he told you the code, or you somehow figured it out through trial and error? If he had a code, how did they know his code? That to me is something I would investigate. But let's play this clip with his mama.
We have to have tough conversations. This is something our community already knows. We have to make sure that, and I know my husband and I, we have had countless conversations with all of our children about the importance of understanding when you are moving in different spaces with people that do not look like you. And it's unfortunate that we have to have these conversations, but they are needed in order to hopefully keep our children safe. So I would say to all the mothers out there, especially my Black mothers, we just have to keep pushing forward. We have to do the things to protect our children.
Okay. I would never talk to my kids like that. I would never brainwash my kids into thinking that they in some spaces because they don't look like us. That's the most. Let me move on. Now I want you to go down imaginary lane with me. Imagine if a white person said this. Got on TV and said, I have to teach our children, all of our children, that they need to be mindful in spaces, especially in spaces where people don't look like us, in an all-Black neighborhood. And they go, we need to have these conversations in order for our children to be safe. And I'm talking to my mamas out there, especially my white mamas. People would have a stroke. You will lose your medical license if a white person came out and said what she said. So in the spirit of fairness, I think that's inappropriate to say. I have mixed children. I would never in my life tell my kids, watch out around here because they don't look like you, color skin. I would say, watch out for the kids that's doing wrong. Kids that are cheating on a test. Kids that are not doing summer workouts. Kids that don't have integrity. Kids that are trying to pressure you into doing drugs and having sex before you're old enough to understand what this is all about. Beware of those children. Those children don't have a color. I'll get to my soapbox in a minute. In other news, the boys, their father, Ben Hudson, and the attorneys have a give, send, go for the boys, and they just launched it. Let me tell you what my thoughts are on the give, send, go. If these kids hadn't been threatened and lied on, and why do you say lied on, Brandon? They have shown me evidence. I have seen and verified evidence. There is Life 360 evidence. There is CETO call evidence that proves what they're saying, and that people have been lying about them so long that they need to take legal action against people. If these boys had not been lied on and threatened in front of me, I saw threats coming in against them. I would say I ain't gonna even mention the GoFundMe. But the fact that they now got to sue people, and Nolan Wells' family and attorney is prepping to sue them with no information of what happened to Nolan, whether he was killed or he drowned. They don't even care. They're trying to make money, so they're gonna sue these boys. Then I wouldn't even support this. Put the thing up there. So anybody that believes that these boys need legal fees taken care of or whatever else they need, go ahead and support. Go ahead and support. And let me tell you, in my heart of hearts, after reviewing all this stuff and listening to everything, I want to support them. I'm trying to be fair, and I can give them a popularity. I can push it out there and let y'all make an opportunity at it. I'm going to try to be fair until the conclusion of the case that I'm not going to give to either GoFundMe or Gifts and Goes. But I'm going to tell you what, I'll put it out there if y'all want to support. I think it's invaluable that people support people who have been done wrong. I don't care if they were black, they were white, they were women, men. When wrong is wrong. And for you to put these young men in a position where you're claiming that they killed somebody with no evidence whatsoever, only based on the skin color, come on and support. We got the link in the description section. And if we don't, we better put that link in the description section. If these boys were black, and you got white folk out here claiming they didn't kill somebody with no evidence, only because they're black, put the GoFundMe up there. Now, here's just a glimpse of, I was just saying I would tell you to put the GoFundMe up here. Here's a glimpse of some of the things that they're getting as hate mail. Let's roll Exhibit A. And guess who's doing the hate? You can hear it in their voice. Roll it.
Don't try and run now. Your son is a piece of shit, and he's about to get all the way up. Don't run now, you use a punk just like your son. You him. You guys are gonna get what the coming to you. I know he killed that little kid, man. You guys aren't. Your wife ain't. All you racist pieces of shit. All you.
All right, next one. Exhibit B.
Yeah, nah, answer the phone. You and your folks think y'all ass so smart, so slick. All these other your son gonna get the worst of it, and he know it. He know it. Y'all ain't say y'all can't say that little nigga. Y'all can't say y'all self. But just know it coming. It real coming.
It real coming.
Your sons and them gonna disable their account and all this other Bruce style. They know what's going on. They know what they did. They disabled that shit for a reason. They lowered up for a reason. They gonna follow this ass for a reason. They know. Yo, was scared to answer that phone because you know what's going on. And ain't nobody scared of y'all white ass. On Jesus. A face y'all. Ain't nobody worried about y'all. Ain't nobody scared about y'all. But y'all better be worried about that boy. Cause I promise you something gonna happen to his ass. If I don't get to his ass, nobody else get to his ass. Something gonna happen to his bitch. And you might want to go and block me because I swear to God, I'm going to call you up on every day until they come clean. I'm talking about some, who with this, your old scary white ass.
We got another one. Hold on. But let me just, you know how crazy this is? Do you know how hateful and racist these people are to come call somebody to say that to them? You know how deranged people got to be? They deactivate their accounts because they're getting threatened like this. They deactivate their account because y'all fools calling them and want to talk about you gonna kill them. Y'all done got a lawyer because they get accused of murder. They're being accused of murder. Y'all, they didn't go to the funeral because y'all threatened to kill them. Y'all all saying that they did this. Why they gonna show up at a funeral for y'all to do something to them because y'all think they didn't kill the boy and they been gone? They were left at 4:30, gone. Everybody gone. We don't know what happened to Nolan. But it seemed like nobody really cared. They just want to blame these white boys. Here another one. This is actually a phone call. Mr. Hudson answered the phone. So y'all know it ain't just some fake stuff. He answered the phone. Roll it.
Hello?
Hello, am I speaking with Benjamin Hudson, mister?
Who is this?
You and your son gonna die, little bro. And your wife. For what y'all did.
Now, let's see who condemned this behavior. Who's going to condemn? No, the colored community that been talking about me ain't going to condemn none of this. They don't care, bro. This is how they are. This is who they are. This is what they represent. I'm telling y'all, 100%. I grew up in this environment. I grew up in the hood. I know how black people think. Not every black person, but most of them think like this. They grew up with a disdain and hatred towards white people. And it only had to be taught to you. My mom and them never taught me to hate nobody. We lived in white neighborhoods. We lived all around. They never taught, but your peers, it's this environment that you end up in where you start watching stuff on TV, you listening to music, you looking at celebrities, and it's all building this thought in your mind, especially when you live in an all-black neighborhood, that white people are out to get you. This is why it's so easy to trick black people and say, look, white boys, a black boy died, racism. They'll put a shirt off their back to come support something like that with no facts, no evidence, because they've been conditioned to hate white people in perpetuity. And listen to the hateful messages that they sent Ben Hudson. It's just terrible. Put that GoFundMe up there one more time. Give us and go. Yeah, I'm gonna let you swap it real quick, and then we're gonna get to this Cajun Navy nothing burger. Yeah, okay. Let me just do while we wait, because we got to transition to something else. I'm gonna tell you guys about Shenergy real quick. If you're looking for an energy drink, if you're looking for a night drink, the night drink energy drink day combination gives you the best energy that you could ever have in a sustainable, clean way. Complete energy, good sleep, wake up feeling refreshed, good energy throughout the morning, take a good clean energy to give you focus and duration of the day. You do that for a week, it'll change your life. Money back guarantee. Come on and go to ShenergyLife.com, ShenergyLife.com. All right, put that up there one time. Go and support them. They should be way over 100,000 in support. Way over 100,000 in support. I can't advocate for nobody else but the people I talk to. And the people that I talk to, the evidence that they showed me, the geo-tracking, the Life 360, all of that puts them boys away from the island when Nolan Wells was still there, and we don't know what happened to him. So don't go out there blaming these people that didn't have nothing to do with it. Let's start looking at people that were still there. Let's start looking at people that knew what was going on instead of blaming them just because they were white featured in a picture with him. All right, let's get to this Cajun Navy. I think it's called, what is it called? The Geospatial Timeline and Vessel Movement Analysis Document. Now, this was something that was breaking news. Look at what happened. Look at all of this. Blah, 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 blah. I saw another weirdo online just pumping this up, pumping it up. That dude used his whole live stream to talk about this, and it's a nothing burger. I went and reviewed it before I ever put it out to you guys, so I'm not going to mislead you and lead you astray and lie to you so I can get viewers and I can get people on here so I can sell you something. I'm not going to do that. We reviewed this thing, and it's a nothing burger. I don't even know why the Cajun Navy put this out. There's nothing there. Maybe it gives people fodder. They can create a lie because they know you're not going to read 26 pages. But I'm going to have Grant read the synopsis because we wrote you a quick synopsis on what you will see and won't see, and I'm going to go through the document so you know we didn't just make this up. All right? Grant, roll it.
Yes, sir. The United Cajun Navy report does not determine how Nolan Wells died or assign responsibility to anyone. Its most important finding is that a major gap remains in the timeline between Nolan's last independent corroborated sighting and the reported 4:31 p.m. departure of the boat he arrived on. The report also says the 4:31 departure time has not been verified through GPS, engine, or other electronic records, and that video showing showing approximately 3:23 and 4:27 may be important but cannot be treated as confirmed event times without the original files and metadata. The report also documents changes in position of several boats, including Boat X and Frontier Bay, but it cannot establish exactly when they moved, where they went, who was aboard, and whether those movements were connected to Nolan's disappearance. Finally, it also does not establish when or why the Triton began taking on water. The main recommendation is to obtain original videos, phone and location data, vessel GPS, and engine records, and complete passenger roster so investigators can build a verified minute-by-minute timeline.
Now, thank you, Grant. What he said was, it's a nothing burger. Pull it up. Get it back on the screen. It's a nothing burger. I'm gonna walk you through this thing so you know that I didn't just make it up. We're gonna do it real quick. So pretty much what they said is that they don't have any information enough to determine anything new in this case. They have a couple pictures that I've already looked at that doesn't show Nolan, and not one picture on here. Just so you guys know, Warren Hudson and the boys that have been accused have all given a timeline to me where I can adequately and confidently say they were all gone when that last boat was towed out at around 4:30. Everybody that was on that boat, except for, I would say, 3 people, Nolan being one of them, did not return. Everybody else returned on the boat. The boat logs are there, and all of the above. And the other people who didn't return are accounted for, except for Nolan, unfortunately. And so there's nothing new under the sun here that we're going to find out. I wish there was. When it is, I'm going to let you guys know. But just so that we can do a quick briefing through this document, they show a picture here. They have some exhibits on here, Boat 1, Boat 2, Boat 3, Boat X, and then they have Warren on Palm Beach, okay? And obviously, just so you guys know, there were 3 boats that went out in Nolan's group. The kids that he went out with went on 3 boats. They all returned. Unfortunately, Nolan was not with them because according to every documented conversation that I've had and every documented statement that has been made public, they all said that he wanted to stay on the island with that girl, and they all left. Okay? So you go down to the document, it says investigative focus, and it tells you what they're going to investigate right here. It says at what time, which boats were present, which boats moved, when did they move, who was on board of them, and all of this. That's all they're saying. Executive findings, they talk about the GPS locations of some of the boat positions and all of this, which means absolutely nothing. There's nothing new to even talk about here. It talks about the 431 departure hinge is what it says, and it just talks about that there was a departure time. It gives a geotrack location of, the boat that Nolan came in on, which was Wyatt's boat. And then it says witness material. It tells you nothing. Late observation. It talks about somebody having a notable observation at 7:30, saying that Nolan was not on the island anywhere that they could find. Nowhere in sight is what it says right here. So they have this gap between 4:30 and 7:30, which is what they're referring to. It looked like they have GPS location and everything and all of the documents that they have pertaining to this, giving a gap. 4:31, which we know that's when the boys, was starting to sink and they end up leaving. All the boats that Nolan came in on were already gone. He could have got on other boats, but obviously he didn't because he's lost his life. 7:30 is a gap where people are saying that they did not see Nolan. Now, however, we still don't know if that was true, that they did not see Nolan anywhere. I mean, it's true that they probably didn't see Nolan anywhere, but that don't mean Nolan wasn't still there. He could have been off somewhere else that they didn't see. So there's still this gap, and this document does not cover the gap. It just continues on. They give this little grid that says evidence classification and limitations. You can go through and read this. TMZ actually launched this. They give you another grid that says source media inventory. It tells you what JPEG files that they have, and it kind of give you a little bit of background on that. So you know exactly what they have, what they don't have. It give a description. Here's some of the documentation that it shows, GPS location of the boat area. I think I can't see which one this is. Let's say one of them around. It's at 1.6 meters. Vessel B. It's just a complicated mess. So this is with some GPS coordinates, I think, where the boys were hanging out at. And I think this may be where Nolan was found. I don't want to assume. There's a bunch of exaggerated BS. So, I mean, not BS, it's just a bunch of nothing. This is a little bit of flight overview of the island. You go down here, and there's a working timeline. This is their timeline, which says absolutely nothing. I think the Cajun Navy should never waste their time putting this out. And then it goes through. This is important to look at because this just tell you there's nothing there. They got the 4:30 account, and then they got a 5 account, right? It says Matthew Lamp states a passenger was pretty certain a person was part of a group that was also fighting around 5 p.m. He says that I can't read that. Is that Beltran? Oh, Bertram. It's so little I can't read none of this. It says with the blue top left shortly afterwards fast, not believing that to be a factor in the timeline. Let me tell you why, okay? Because they got another person that contradicted it. So it goes down through a bunch of nothing and nothing, and here's a couple pictures that don't say anything, really. I don't know why they put this out. So just pictures there. On board the Trident. I wonder, is that picture there? Is this another picture of the beach? Kind of show you what it looks like out there when they were out there. Here's a couple photos here of what it looks like. I think these are actually videos, but they're not going to play on this document. So these are a couple videos that put a little timeline together, but Nolan is nowhere to be found in any of this. Here's a little shot of kind of the area they were in. Nolan is nowhere to be found in this area. They don't depict Nolan anywhere. What a waste of time. Okay, this is what they were talking about, that 5:30 thing. I guess this content creator or person wrote a note pretty much saying that they believe they saw something suspicious. And then this person here on the right pretty much debunked it and said, hey, that was us who you yelled at. You should be more responsible putting out false information. And so what the Cajun Navy is saying is that this was a post saying that they may have seen Nolan at 5. This was disputing that Nolan was seen at 5. The next time somebody had something with 7:30 where they said Nolan was nowhere to be found. So they got the 4:30 departure, and then they got this 5 o'clock and 7:30 where Nolan is nowhere to be found, which consistently creates a gap where what happened to Nolan between 4:30 and 7:30. And the problem that I have with this is that even at 7:30, you don't see Nolan anywhere here, but that don't mean Nolan's still not at the island. So we don't know if Nolan has been killed by somebody at this point, has drowned at this point, or he's still somewhere else on the island with that girl or by himself. So the Cajun Navy really didn't do anything spectacular. It almost seemed more like a distraction than anything. So you guys can go and review this document. Maybe we'll put a link to it so you can go see it for yourself. As it stands, there's nothing really concrete or substantial about this document. I kind of wish they wouldn't have put it out, but who cares? Okay. New video circulating. Okay, what's the new video circulating? I guess they're talking about this new video that's circulating that's a nothing burger. I'm going to play it for you guys because there are people out here that's going to put it on social media and act like it's a big thing and, oh, my God, look at this new evidence and lie to you so they can get you to click on their videos and they can make some money off of you. But I'm telling you, this don't show anything. Not that I'm aware of. Somebody can help me in the comment section. Roll the clip.
Hey, we're out here. Everybody's coming out stuff. 11:15 at the island. Happy 4th.
Just seemed like a bunch of white people doing white people stuff. They're out of the island at around 11. I do not understand the contextual reality of this, right? There's nothing really there. As you could tell, if somebody knows something, let me know, but there's nothing there. Then they played this, or they put this out there. There's nothing there. Nolan is not on the boat. There's nobody that looked like Nolan on the boat. There's no indication that Nolan is on this boat. They somehow just popped this out there to say this is some new development. And then all of the sources that I've been made aware of have no idea what the big Mac Daddy is. Nobody knows who owned the Mac Daddy. The Mac Daddy is not a part of the 3 boats that were out there that Warren came in on, the group that Warren came in on. None of the boys that have been accused, none of the boys that's pictures have been blasted all over the internet have anything to do with Mac Daddy. They weren't on Mac Daddy. They didn't come on Mac Daddy. And I don't think they know anybody on Mac Daddy, right? Isn't that what was said? They don't even know anybody on this Mac Daddy thing. So somebody putting this out really don't have any relevance unless people just put out stuff to get you to click on it. Let me give a quick shout out again to the Give Send Go. If you want to support the boys, go on and jump on the Give Send Go and give. The link is in the description section. I think it's a worthy cause because I think anybody that's done wrong should be supported. Let me just put this in perspective. I think Nolan should be supported. Nolan, from every account that I've heard from anybody I've talked to, said Nolan was an exceptional young man. He was nice, he was kind, he was giving, he was loving, he was friendly with everybody, black, white. Nolan did not care. And all these boys who are all in the same friend group, they also did not care. It seemed like a group of really good kids. So I think that any support of Nolan is great. Paying for his funeral, I think is great. But these people out here pushing racism is a shame. All right, give me the content of that one guy that was talking trash. I want y'all to not that idiot, this idiot. I think he called himself a what? This guy says he's a psychotherapist. We went and looked him up. He's not a PhD psychotherapist. He's not an MD psychotherapist. He's a professional counselor that has a degree in counseling and therapy. And he calls himself a psychotherapist. Now, I don't know how big his practice is or whatever, but you could tell he's a lying, sorry son of a gun because the fool just made up stuff about me. Anybody doing counseling, therapy, or psychotherapy, claim to be a psychotherapist, in order for you to make an equivalent or reasonable diagnosis of somebody's character, you should at least actually research them properly. One, maybe getting to know them or sitting down and talking to them will give you a balanced perspective. But instead, what these milk dud, bald head, silly people do that just hate other black people with a different opinion is they make up stuff. Because they need to frame you as somebody that can't be trustworthy. This dude don't know me or don't even know what he's talking about. His Google search wasn't even right. And he shows a picture, and I think he had made an inference that somehow I'm seeking validation. This guy have no idea what this picture is. I don't know if this clip is something he said about this picture, but let me put this into context. That's me, as you can see. That's RFK and his wife. And then there's my friend Mark. I got invited to the White House event, East Wing, by the person who put the whole thing together. Personally called me and said, B. Tatum, pull up. I invited my friend Mark to come with me. RFK knows me. So I came up to him because my friend Mark wanted to meet him. And we all took a picture together. I was in there. My friend Mark is incredibly successful. I would argue, I'll tell you, he manages billions of dollars under management in this company. I'm betting my money with Mark. Mark is a great guy. I won't manage my money with nobody but Mark. So, boom, there you go. We're in the room with billionaires, celebrities, all kind of people. Nobody's thinking about race. Nobody's thinking, oh, you accepted in? I got a personal invite. Of course I'm accepted in. These other people, I don't know them, but I know I got a personal invite. Anyway, listen to this ridiculous guy. I wanted to call him another word, but I'm trying to be saved. Roll the clip.
Over the past few weeks, I've become very aware of an online personality who goes by the name Officer Tatum. Officer Tatum is a man named Brandon Tatum, who has built quite a following and reputation for being a conservative African-American, a right-wing African-American, and the way that he's conducted himself since the Nolan Wells case has exploded has gotten me interested. And what I wanted to understand was, how does someone who is an African-American have the ideas that he has, have the ideals that he has, and build a platform that he has? So I wanted to delve.
Let me tell you what he could do. He could reach out to me. If you want to get into my mind and know where I stand, you can reach out to me and have a conversation with me, and you'll get a better perspective. Instead of trying to Google me and come up with fake stories about me. Roll the clip. He had me at this point. Cool, that's fair. Roll it.
Into the psychology of how a personality like that develops and where it might come from. So it's interesting because if you look at Brandon Tatum's history, you have to first understand his family. His family are full of very, very successful people and very successful athletes. One of his family members was an All-American at Ohio State University and became an NFL All-Pro. Another one of his family members, I think his grandfather, was a high fire department personality.
Time out. I think he's talking about Jack Tatum. Is that who you referred to? One of the greatest safeties to ever live. Now, you don't know anything because you haven't talked to me. That is more of a rumor that went around that Jack Tatum is my great uncle. People have said it. They have put that on my name. I never met Jack. Me and my brother were All-American football players. We reach out to Jack because it's been rumored that we have a connection there. People just been running with it. And it's just been going viral, and people just been holding on to it since me and my brother played football. I don't know Jack. I don't know his family. We could be related. He died before we can actually connect and verify if he's in fact our family member. So it's just rumors, and people have been putting those two things together because we have the same last name, Tatum, and me and my brother were both U.S. Army All-Americans, which we were the top players in the nation coming out of high school, respectively. So you don't even know what you're talking about. Then he said my grandfather was a police profession. Put some respect on my daddy name. My grandfather was not a firefighter. I said police, I mean firefighter. Put some respect on my father's name. My father was a decorated firefighter. My father retired as a battalion chief in Fort Worth. But say the rest of it. My father was a chief in Waco, Texas. My father was a chief in Keller. Retired twice, 40 plus years of service. Negro, get your facts right. Put some respect on my daddy name. Okay. But you didn't do your research. Keep going.
Fort Worth, Texas, where he's from. He went to Dunbar High School, where he was a standout football player, absolutely stellar football player.
True.
And in that part of the world, in Texas, high school football is a really big deal. And
True.
Officer Brandon Tatum was extraordinarily successful, went on to college to play football, and had aspirations to play in the NFL. He went undrafted, which must have really caused him some struggle and caused him some difficulty. And then after going undrafted, he became a police officer in Arizona, where he also had gone to college. Now, this is all important stuff to understand because just like in any family, living up to the family legacy is always a pressure. And when you come from a family that is stacked with so much athletic success, you feel like I have to live up to the success that my family has set for me. And oftentimes when you fail to do that, that sense of failure is a real struggle and leads to a sense of belonging. I'm going to get to that in a second.
Time out. Now let's clarify this real quick. If Jack Tatum was in fact my great uncle, I didn't meet him and I never had a chance to talk to him. So there's no expectation for my family. Me and my brother in my immediate family were the first to go to college. My daddy graduated high school. My mama didn't even graduate high school. And, of course, she made her way. My mama still did it. But you go on and you say, my brother was the first in our family, our immediate family, to go to college. And then I came along. My dad went back to get his master's degree. And then my little sister, of course, she balled out of control. She did everything we never did. And my little brother did too. But we were the first in our immediate family to go off to a major university. There were other people in my family, but that wasn't a norm. It's not like we had a family legacy of everybody going to college. Me and my brother were the first ones. And then, of course, my younger siblings, they went off to college and are very successful. But you don't know what you're talking about. There's no legacy to live up to. Nobody else in my family ever played in the NFL. Nobody in my family ever played in college football, except for my cousin, Mike. Mike was the only one. And none of us went to the league. So you're making up your therapeutic analysis. And to say that it was like living up to the expectation, no, my father was a decorated firefighter. So living up to the expectations is becoming a police officer was honorable within the culture of my family. Let him finish.
But leads to a sense of belonging. So now he's also experienced a struggle at becoming an officer and wasn't able to do that for long term. And he stopped becoming an officer, and then he starts a security company. Now, it's interesting.
Time out, bro. I didn't. Dang. Homeboy, what? Boy, yo, AI lying to you. First of all, I was very successful as a police officer. I was very successful. People loved me. They wanted me to be on the SWAT team when I was, 2 years on the police department. But I had a sergeant that held me accountable and said, no, you need to build your reputation first before you think about, you need to become an officer and know how to do your job before you start jumping into being SWAT because everybody's hiring you because you played college football. And obviously I had the physicality. So I had a sergeant that cared about me and cared about my future as a police officer and said, no, you need to earn your right. I became the youngest, first, if y'all want to put race into it, black PIO in the history of our department. And I was the youngest PIO ever in the history of our department. And I did it earlier than anybody with 2 years on the police department. I only did that for about a year. I was very successful. I had many commendations. I had a great clean record. That's the only way I could have even got on SWAT because I had no blemishes on my record whatsoever. And I joined the SWAT team. And I was on the SWAT before I left the police department. If I hadn't left the police department, I was going to test for sergeant. I'd have become a sergeant. I wanted to be K9. I could have did K9. Like I never wanted to leave policing. I never wanted to leave. I loved being a cop. And they loved me at TPD. Now, let's finish it.
Point, he starts working for Charlie Kirk, who was a very prominent conservative, very prominent right-wing conservative personality that I'm sure everybody at this point has heard about, and sadly he was assassinated. And as Brandon Tatum is working for Charlie Kirk, he starts building his own platform. Now, here's where I think things become really important.
Not true.
When you have been dealing with failure over a long period of time and you have a significant sense of desire for a sense of belonging, the internet is a very interesting place because you can build content for certain communities and experience that sense of belonging. And being around Charlie Kirk, he's going to understand how to build content for the audience that is also right-wing conservative that Charlie Kirk was serving. Now, look, I want to be very clear here. There is nothing wrong with anybody being conservative, right-wing, have whatever views you want to have, and it doesn't really matter whether you're white, black, or Hispanic. It doesn't really matter. But what stands out to me about the content of Brandon Tatum is he spends a lot of time saying really disparaging, disrespectful things about historical black people, about people like Harriet Tubman. I saw him making very difficult, very, very disrespectful comments about Rosa Parks and the civil rights movement.
All right,
agreeing with Charlie.
All right, let's debunk a few of those things. And I think that's the crux of, what he said. And he goes on to repeat himself. But first and foremost, I didn't start my platform. This person has no idea. If he'd have talked to me, maybe he'd be able to analyze me. I was very successful in high school. Went to college, got my degree. I did not have a great football career. I hated every minute of my football career. Although I was an exceptional athlete and all that stuff, I was in the 2010 NFL draft. Even though I didn't start a single game in college. I played special teams, and some years I didn't play at all. But I was such a great athlete, I was still eligible for the draft. I had an agent that represented me. Oakland Raiders was going to draft me. They passed on me on draft day in my draft party in front of all my family. And that was a hit. That was a hit. However, at the time, I had a kid on the way, and I'm a responsible man, and I'm not going to spend my time and I had a mentor, and that was a very successful white man who did so many incredible things and helped change my life. But regardless of that, my mentor gave me a good perspective. So I said, look, I got to make money. I can't be chasing a dream that ain't happening. And I didn't love football enough at this point. I'd been burnt out with football that I didn't want to keep pursuing it. So I said, let me get a job. I fell in love with policing after a ride along. And I loved being a cop. So I go on to be a cop. I never wanted to leave. This political stuff got out of control. And I said, you know what, let me give it a try for 1 year. I did it for 1 year, and I never went back. And that's kind of what happened. And I already had a platform. That's how I left the police department. I had already been building my platform, my personality. I can say that Turning Point USA was a springboard in my success, learning how to speak. I went and spoke at 20-some universities, all of this stuff. I left Turning Point and began to excel in my own platform. So I didn't even do nothing with my platform while I was with Turning Point, to be honest. Then the guy said, you disparaged Harriet Tubman. Just because I have an opinion about it don't mean I'm disparaging anybody. You completely lied about Harriet Tubman. I mean, Rosa Parks is the one that I have criticisms of, and you completely lied about Harriet Tubman. There ain't no video out here in the world that I'm disparaging Harriet Tubman. That fool ain't seen nothing. What he meant was he meant Rosa Parks and couldn't think of a name, so he said Harriet Tubman. I ain't say nothing disparaged about Harriet Tubman. Only thing that I've mentioned about Harriet Tubman is facts that most of y'all don't know. One is that she was married at the time that she started the Underground Railroad to a black man who was free. So that gives you a perception of what's going on at the time that you may not have known. That takes nothing away from Harriet Tubman. You did not know she had a job at the time. And she lived with her husband who was free. And some of her family members were free blacks. That puts the proper context where she didn't start the Underground. And her husband told her not to start the Underground Railroad, which now he goes down in history as a coward, okay? But she wasn't on a plantation picking cotton, getting slapped over the head when she started the Underground Railroad. She was a very sophisticated woman. She was very smart. She probably would have been free in the near future. She was married to a man who was free. Her family members were free. It could have been a very big possibility that her family could have bought her or purchased her freedom. She may have been able to purchase her own freedom. So I mentioned that to put it in context. I think she was one of the greatest people to ever live. Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks was an activist. Rosa Parks, I believe, staged what happened on when the bus thing. I'm not saying that white people didn't participate in it. I'm not saying white people weren't wrong at making black people sit in the back of the bus. But what I'm saying is that somebody actually had the Rosa Parks experience. But they could not use this young lady because she had a baby at 16 and the movement couldn't push her out there because her reputation was tainted. So what did they do? They needed another opportunity to recreate this. And this is my opinion based on the evidence and research that I've done, is that there are other people besides me that believe that this was recreated. Why? Because there are those who believe that Harriet Tubman had access to transportation. Many believe she had a car. Now, let me just explain this real quick. She did have a car. I did some research online and tried to figure out, is there anything else that I'm missing here? Because there's a conflict here. She did have a car. There's pictures of her in front of a car. Her husband owned a car. But there's claims online, which I'm going to do deeper research to figure out are these claims legitimized or not, because the things that I've researched says that she had a car. They said that Harriet Tubman once had a car, but her and her husband was on hard times at this point. And at this point, she was riding on a bus because they had hard times. However, it alludes to the fact that her husband got a ride to work every day. And when she got picked up from prison or from jail, her husband picked her up in a car that they claim he borrowed from somebody. So you have a convoluted, in my opinion, leaves the door open for people to speculate, could this have been true or could this have been a lie that have been spread? Some say her car ownership was a rumor created. And I don't dispel that. I just need you to show me more evidence than the evidence I have. So this is the only reason why I said that. She was an activist. They had the cameras and everything was all, because if you want to do it, you make it into what you want it to be and then you elevate it. You go sit in when that's not traditionally what people are doing in that city, but you go sit in and make a big deal about it. And you pay people, you fly people in, they go do sit-ins and they do protests. They stage it. It's not saying that the people weren't actively against them or that what they did was wrong or right. It's that thinking that a person is going through a struggle every day of their lives and they're being mistreated every day, it needs to be put in the context where, no, that wasn't the case of the totality of the experience of this person. They were bringing awareness to a situation. But regardless of that, if you got better information, then send it to me. Put it on our tip line, and I'll consider it. Anyway, let's go to. I think that's the last thing I want to say about this guy. Regardless of that, if you're not a member, sign up. We're gonna talk about the 10 major lies in the Nolan Wells case. I had my producer give me the 10 major lies. We're going to take some time to go through that in post-show for the members. I think everybody else has already heard this, but for the members, we're going to put it I'm going to put it all together for you. So you don't have to go to videos everywhere else. You can go there. And if you want to join a membership, it's very inexpensive to do it. You don't have to. Don't think you need to join it because Brandon Tatum is going to not be able to feed my kids if you don't join some membership. No, it's not about the money. It's about giving availability to more advanced support for the channel. Okay, Sophie Cunningham. I'm going to talk about her, then we're going to go to post-show clarity. All right, let's get to Sophie. Roll the clip.
Protesters clashed outside the Lynx game this afternoon after Indiana Fever player Sophie Cunningham's comments regarding biological men playing in women's sports.
And this comes after multiple protests in other cities hosting Fever games. Fox 9's Emily Pofall joining us now. And so, Emily, some of that back and forth took place inside the arena today, too.
Right. This all stems from a July interview with Cunningham where she says she wants to protect young girls in a locker room or young girls in sport playing against, quote, biological men. Lynx coach Cheryl Reeve, after practice yesterday, said trans women should be included too.
It is not the case that we have, quote, biological men in girls' locker rooms. The way it's being phrased, the innuendo there that somehow transgender women are predators of some kind in the locker room. There's a lot of narrative that is problematic that we need to address. That is simply not what's happening.
She went on to call attention to other issues impacting women's sports.
Whether it's, cisgender men that have held us down for years in spaces like being able to have access to facilities and uniforms and locker rooms, all the things that these young girls that are sitting at games with anti-trans signs, do they understand actually what their real problems are?
Then today, dozens of...
I got to say something about this. I'm so sick. I said this earlier and I almost mean it. Why is the default woman stupid in this situation? When you look at the default position of the WNBA, they're stupid people. What are you doing? It's the same thing in the black community. I'm telling you, y'all get mad at me all you want. The default position is stupid. The biggest activists in America right now are complete frauds. Why? Why don't we have qualified activists that's willing to stand up for what? Man, none of these activists are talking about illegal immigration in America. You got illegals coming into inner city communities, being placed with government funding into schools that's been shut down, and black people have no access to good education, but they spending money on illegals, and none of y'all talking about it. Default stupid. WNBA, you would think that women would be going full woman mode. Everything about women. No men in the WNBA. Everything a woman do is right in the WNBA. No! Women are advocating for men to be in the WNBA. What are you doing? Sophie Cunningham, like the only one that's willing to stand up against stupidity. Do we have a penis or not? What are we talking about? Nobody wants their daughter to be in a locker room with a dude with his jang hanging out. What are we doing? What are you saying? I'm not educated. You're not educated on a penis and a vagina. Where did you go to school? Lord have mercy. What are we talking about? I'm sick of y'all. WNBA, default stupid. Everybody should be on Sophie Cunningham's side just because she a woman. It's y'all league. Y'all should be going, no, she right. She right. But then there's people that are standing up for women's rights, and women are saying you are bigoted and you're hateful because you want a man to put a wig on and compete in women's sports. Oh, my gosh. Come on, let it play the clip.
Supporters, some from out of town, clashed with trans advocates outside the arena. Similar scenes recently played out at Fever games in Seattle and Portland. But then take a look at this. Inside Target Center, Cunningham and Reeve were seen having a cordial mid-court conversation before the game. Reeve seen wearing a shirt saying trans kids belong. And Reeve post-game wouldn't share exactly what they said to each other, but she did seem to encourage polite, nuanced conversation.
think it's great. I think both of us understand that we have platforms, and we both talked about wanting to, more than anything, educate. And there are some things that we have in common, and maybe some things you differ on, just like any issues. And I think it's how you handle things. And so, it was nice to be in person for sure.
Reeves stressed the importance of finding.
Next clip. Dude, hold on, y'all. Is there, help me with this. Is there I need to research the psychology of minority groups. I need to research this. Why are minority groups, some of them default stupid? It's like Asian groups are fine. Jews, killing it. But like black people and Indians killing it for some reason. They killing it. Hispanics are killing it. They starting to get, Hispanics are the majority minority because the black people are too silly to advocate for themselves. Now they're going, let's look out for LGBT rights. Let's let LGBTQ piggyback off civil rights and let's fight for their rights. Your stupid black activists are fighting for LGBT rights and illegals. Your stupid black activists are voting for politicians that's speaking Spanish at the debate stage. That's advocating for illegals to take. The illegals are not going to the white community. They going to the inner city and they're getting free cell phones. They're voting. I grew up in Fort Worth, Texas. On my grandmama's street was all black people. Now it's nothing but Mexicans. I remember when Town Center, if you grew up in Fort Worth, Texas, Town Center was black. It was shootings and stuff going on, but they were black. Now it's called Fiesta. And y'all, what are y'all doing? No, we want Kamala Harris. What is she doing for black people? Nothing. We want equality of black and brown. But now y'all black and brown. It should just been black. But the brown people say, we're just gonna jump on that struggle. They did what for how many years to get rights? Voting rights, equality, fighting in the military. Oh, we just jump on that. And what y'all dumb, ignorant Negroes do is go, come on, Mexicans, jump on our struggle, and your struggle is our struggle now. And now, black struggle is down here, and the Hispanic struggle is up here. Come on, you're gay? No, you didn't have to drink out of a gay water fountain. No, you couldn't eat that because you were gay. All the stuff black people had to struggle with. No, there was no Jim Crow gay South. You didn't have to do none of that. Come on, jump on our... Oh, now it's LGBTQ, Hispanic, then black. Now look at you. You're at the bottom of the totem pole in your own movement. And y'all mad at Brandon Tatum. You a coon. Well, then maybe you should be a coon. Maybe people won't be doing drive-by shootings in your community. Maybe the money will circulate more than 30 seconds in the black neighborhood. Maybe y'all finally put your money together and create a black bank. But you won't. JP Morgan Chase is where you got your money. Bank of America, where you got your money. Vantage West Credit Union. That's why I used to have a credit union. That's where you got your money. You ain't got your money in a black bank. Where do your black billionaires have their money at? It ain't with black people. But I'm the coon sellout Uncle Tom. Why don't you get mad at them? Where your favorite black people live at? White people, around white people. Where did Nolan and them family live at? White people. Where white people? They don't live around black people. Y'all didn't make me mad, so now I gotta keep it real. All right, I've been holding back. All right, back to the subject at hand. Look at this video.
Supporters to Indiana's matchup against Seattle Tuesday, including 2 teenage fans who wore T-shirts depicting the XX and XY chromosomes and carried signs thanking Cunningham courtside.
I wasn't trying to be political. I was just trying to support Sophie.
That's when they say a woman, later identified as Seattle Storm co-owner Celeste Keaton, approached them.
I thought she was gonna be nice, and then she starts like screaming at us, and cussing at us, and then she told us that we were effing insane.
Keaton is now facing
It
a
would be
fine
a fat
and a
lesbian that do that.
5-game suspension from the WNBA for that interaction. The Seattle Storm apologized for the exchange and said they remain committed to creating a welcoming and respectful environment for anyone who attends a Storm game.
Think about this for a minute, y'all. The girl have XXXY on the shirt. There's nothing there. Rational people go, I don't really like that shirt. Okay, finish watching the game. The co-owner of the team had to come down and cuss out kids. Listen to Sophie and them team coach. She ain't gonna never let me come to the game, and I don't care. You're a terrible representation for women. Sophie is all y'all got. Roll the clip.
What's your stance? What is your stance on men or athletes who test as biological male participating in women's sports? What's your personal
Great
stance?
question.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I would say that I'm educated enough from a scientific standpoint. I don't ever believe that exclusion is an answer. I just don't. I do think, when we think about various levels of sport, various governing bodies of sport and things that go into that. Like I said, I'm not educated enough at the different levels. I know growing up, I played with the boys all the time.
So
there weren't girl sports.
Would you welcome a biological male in WNBA?
Again, it's like I don't know. When we talk about biological male and scientifically where we are, I think it's a totally different scenario. As I said, I'm not educated enough in terms of transgender and transitioning. To give you a smart answer. I would say though that I just don't feel like exclusion is an answer, and I think that we need to have deeper, more layered conversations.
If you're not educated enough, then how do you know it's actually exclusion? I hate the way these people act. See, I got my hat. Every time I look at it, I try to slow down. I hate the way these people act. You are a scumbag woman. You're a shameful woman who cannot stand up for what's right. When are y'all gonna grow a pair? I don't understand. Why are y'all leaving Sophie out there to dry? Put them on the screen. Caitlin, I love your game. You the Michael Jordan of WNBA. If you could dunk, you'll have more people watching. But you are the GOAT as far as the three-pointers. Sophie is the GOAT as far as the total package. Why won't y'all stand by your sister? You let Sophie sit out there and take the hits, and the head coach that's supposed to be, I'm for women. You didn't let her get let out there into the wolves. Caitlin, I love you. You don't always have to play in the middle, sis. These black lesbians don't like you. Except the ones on your team, maybe. But the other ones don't like you. They saying all kind of racist stuff behind your back. They trying to hit you with elbows. They knock you on the ground. They cussing at you. They saying all kind of stuff. They hate you. You need to stop playing in the middle and just keep it 100. The girl that got your back like two flats on a Cadillac is Sophie. Can you say, I stand by Sophie? We answered all your questions. That's my girl. Quit trying to pit us against each other. I got Sophie back. I'm with her right or wrong. That's my teammate. Ask me another question before I flash on y'all. If she did that, I'll buy 400 of her jerseys. 400. Y'all got my word. I'll buy 400. Can y'all please step up and support each other? The reason why nations fall is because people are cowards. And when that pressure come on, they fold. When that pressure hit, they leave their friends out to dry. I'm telling you, bruh. How many people standing by yours truly? I seen the text messages come through. I know y'all my real day ones. Everybody else, I don't want to get hit. I don't want to take no shots. I'm not going to take a chance. I'm not going to put myself out there to protect and defend people that are doing the right thing. Roll the clip.
I think for us, like, you know, it's not really a discussion we really have in our locker room. I think it's for leagues and the governing bodies to work with their athletes to find solutions, but our focus is on basketball, and that's what we talk about and how we can get wins, and obviously we didn't do that tonight, so need to find an area to improve in that way.
Do you have any, reaction to the...
I just answered for you.
All right. Now, this is like, look, I love everything Caitlin Clark said. I just wish she would have added the second part is, my girl Sophie, I stand by my girl Sophie. I don't care what y'all say. This is what y'all need to figure that out, but don't come and attack Sophie. That's my girl. If y'all got a problem with Sophie, I may not agree. I don't care if I agree with her or not. You got a problem with Sophie, you got a problem with me. Her shoe will be selling out too. Now here goes somebody. Do I need to take my hat off to say this? No, okay. Come on, put him on the screen because I have very negative things to say about this guy. Roll the clip.
What's your stance on?
Look at him. He looked like he finna say something
biologically
stupid.
Male participating in women's sports.
Yeah, I mean, my focus as a basketball coach, I be completely honest, like I don't think I've ever had to think about that. I'm completely supportive of people from all communities, all walks of life. So that's my stance completely. I'm supportive of everyone in the Portland, the community.
Would you be okay with biological males participating in the WNBA?
I think I've given my answer already on that question. I don't feel like I need to go deeper there.
The last time the Fever...
What? Lord help me. What an emasculated man. This stuff is not rocket science. Hey, should a man be in? No, he should not. A man shouldn't be in women's sports. Let's create a new category. If you got a PP, you need to be in the NBA. If you don't have PP, you can be in the NBA, or you don't have PP, you be in the WNBA. If you got a PP, but you think you're a woman, maybe we can make a new one. Can we make a new category? Because these young people over here saying they don't want a man wee-wee in the locker room. What? Like, I don't understand this. I don't understand this, bruh. Do y'all know how crazy our country is at this point? Like, these people have gone so far that in many cases, I could just pull up at a locker room and be like, I identify as a girl. How are you going to tell me how far in my transition I'm in? And I could be in there, pull it all out. Sitting on the bench with it all out. Looking around, who see me? And I'm looking at every woman in there. Just say I wasn't saved and I didn't have Jesus in my life and I want to be nasty. Y'all are opening up the opportunity for men to get in there and pull their stuff out and look at every woman that they think they like when they were in the gym. They doing it around the country. People just ain't saying that because they scared. You telling me if I wasn't living right and I was a sinner and I was lost in my mind, I'm at the gym working out, I see a baddie, because you know they don't put no clothes on at the gym. They like their strip club. I see a baddie doing the booty squats, putting her booty in the air, nothing on. You can see through the thing. It's X-rated gym, but I like her though. I'm a sinner. I want to see what that look like. Now I'm a transition. I'm trans. Oh, you gonna tell me I'm not trans? I want to go in there. Go in there and see her change her clothes. And nobody can stop you. This is where we're headed. People think I'm playing. We done show videos of men that don't even look like they transitioning in women's locker rooms, getting kicked out of the gym. And then what you do is you have weak men. Yeah, I haven't done the research. I think women should be in the women. I guess men. You get 15 years from now, they can't even question you what you're thinking about. Then before you know it, men, because women are not invading men's spaces. You don't see trans men going and saying, I want to play football. I want to play basketball. I want to be. Why there's no trans men going into men's spaces? Why is it trans women that's going into women's spaces? Show me the last time a trans man was on a podium in any sport. Show me the last time a trans man won in cycling, cross country, football, they played on the team, volleyball team, track and field, 4x100 meter relay on track and field, steeplechase, name it. Show me a trans man that have been competitive. Show me one. Show me one. Show me one. Powerlifting. Show me one. I'll give you $1,000 right now if you can show me a trans man, that means a woman that transitions to a man that's number one on the podium in a competitive sport. And I will show you every race of transgenders in there, number one. On the number one or number two. Every event that a trans person is involved in, they're number one. Or number two or number three. They ain't not finishing on a podium. Liz, the boxer, the woman on the track, every cyclist I've ever seen compete against women in cycling are on the podium. Track and field, state champion in the state of Washington, everyone. Where do you get that it's fair? If you don't see trans men doing it, but you see only trans women, that should tell you something ain't right. I'm going to stop. Post show's getting ready to hit. I've watched Tour de France, 22 stages of all-out violence. I've been watching the female version of the Tour de France. I can't watch it. It's not as entertaining. They're not going as fast. They're not it's not action like it is. Now, I don't have no haterade for women's cycling. They have a place. There's people that love it. They watch it. I'd even sponsor one of the female athletes if it ever came down to it. But what I'm saying is that it's different. Therefore, if a man ever transitions, if Taddy Bagacha transitions to a woman, he would win every stage of well, he already ran it for the men. I think he would win it with no team. He would have the polka dot jersey, the green jersey, the white jersey, because he'll be a new man. He'll be a new rider because he'll be transitioned to a woman the next year. The yellow jersey. He'll have every jersey. KOM, every KOM to ever exist. Okay. I love y'all. I'll see y'all on the next one. I'm out.